English translation, 133rd contact. Friday, 8th of August, 1980, 12:09 Hrs.
It is nice that all three of you have come together once again. However, this visit will certainly not turn out to be pleasant for you because I have now cracked up. Everything has simply gone over my head and I probably cannot go on any longer.
Your actions are well known to us.
We are aware that you have now done what you call throwing down the pickaxe.
You are not able to astonish us with this.
This makes me curious. Do you not have any thunderstorm for that?
Why should we? It would not be of correctness. We informed you through Meier UFO that we have distanced ourselves so far from the behavior and actions of your group that we no longer want to meddle in their direct interests. This is, on the one hand, for the reason that we want to retain our integrity before the further false judgments in regards to the determinations and analyzation possibilities of the Earth humans. And on the other hand, however, because we cannot understand the manner of thinking and behaving of the group members in their confusion, instability, and unreasonableness.
I have conveyed this to you several times.
I know, of course. But why do you know what took place in me?
That is very simple. After you had demonstrated your problems to my daughter Meier UFO, we decided, after the departure of the monitoring disc, to consider your problems personally at very close range, which is why over the last few weeks, we secretly made an effort to observe the center and the group members. What we found exceeded our worst expectations because disputes, disagreements, and quarrels appeared in the worst forms. The impact of you resigning as head of the whole has produced the absolute inability of all group members to lead the center or the group in even the slightest concerns. Malicious terms of abuse, aggressiveness, selfishness, egoism, hysteria, jealousy, and lust for power have appeared so intensively among the various group members that a unification and harmonious coexistence among them will never be possible if drastic measures are not used and enforced. It has become clear through our inspection that very many emotional and negative factors are embodied in the individual group members so much that they want to live purely selfishly and subjugate the other group members to themselves. However, it has also been revealed by our observations that the majority of group members live in the delusion that they are able to be self-thinking and decisive. However, these abilities are far removed from them. Within this delusion, however, is also buried the delusional idea that they would exhibit good leadership qualities, but this lacks any reality. Truly, there is not one single group member who can lead or manage the center, quite apart from guiding and directing the group and its tasks and obligations. Afterwards, however, they give the impression that they would be capable of these strengths, which is contrary to the truth, nevertheless. Also, this will have the opposite effect on interested parties because, as we determined, visitors will probably be misled through selective words and gestures, which will paint for them a false picture of reality and truth. Truthfully, the nice word makers are unhappy in themselves, unbalanced, and wrapped in darkness, which is why they are contentious in themselves, power-driven within the circle of the group members, and otherwise degenerated in many other emotional issues. Their lust for power, selfishness, aggressiveness, as well as their jealousy and their hysteria, etc., will ensure that they will not accept or receive any advice from your side, but that despite your advice and explanations, they will continue to act merrily according to their own poorly thought-out and illogical notions, which will then inevitably lead to failure. All wrong thoughts of the group members lead to the fact that they are constantly thinking of being able to achieve the right results and objectives through their own decisions. At the same time, they do not notice that they disregard your advice that you reach through logical thinking. Neither do they notice that on their wrong path, they head towards new misfortune or new failure.
With the human beings of the earth, thinking is simply a matter of pure luck and is rarely successful.
I must register your words because they combine the facts very carefully.
Thus, I did the right thing in that I have surrendered, at least for the time being.
Your statement corresponds to correctness. This was also decided by the High Council.
It knows of this?
Certainly, we presented the materials to them according to our findings, after which it gave the advice that the core group should be dissolved.
Which I have also advised. Furthermore, I am also of the opinion that it is best if all the material that has been produced so far is destroyed down to the last letter. This is because I think that through a wide dissemination of such, smaller and larger groups would form here and there in time, and everything would be dragged into an endless confusion, which would result in an even larger sectarian group emerging, as is the case with all religions today. Despite the knowledge of the group members today, there does not exist anyone among them who knows enough to interpret the final truth. This is not to mention outsiders. It is not possible in the group that one could still reveal deeper truths, because they, on the one hand, do not understand, or, on the other hand, they abuse them. It has gone so far that outsiders, affected by the group members from the top down and treated as being stupid, have more intensively studied the teachings than even the group members themselves, which is why these outsiders are encountering truths and matters that a group member has not even dreamed about. This has given me a long time to think. Out of everything that is done, only rarely is it what I arranged or proposed. The ordinal rules given by you were not obeyed practically, and neither were the recommendations as given by the Decalogue. So all of the other writings are not noted, let alone that these are followed. For instance, a group member is, even today, only at about the 70th contact report. No more has been read as of yet, let alone studied. The silly excuse for this is that there simply remained no time for reading, etc. But then there are countless other failures, which is why I have given up for the time being, because I can no longer see any point in continuing the mission under such circumstances. That is why I am also sure that all material up to the last letter should be destroyed. And for this reason, I must say that it would probably not make any more sense for us to search for a new beginning in America or in another country once again.
Such a new beginning, if it cannot be created in the center, would also find no success in another country. A real success of this kind requires that the group members change themselves by any necessary means and truly turn to the goals. Only then will everything have meaning. However, your idea about the destruction of the material is of good logic because the High Council also gave that advice on the same grounds as yours. If everything should truly fail, then this step should be taken.
Do I understand you quite right, Ta? Why do you say if everything should fail? Everything has already failed and is now pointless.
Can you understand this incredible unreasonableness and illogic of the group members?
Certainly not, and that gives me a damn hard time.
You see, and as you think, would it be worthwhile to take everything further if this possibility existed?
Certainly, but under these circumstances, it does not seem possible to me, and I also do not see a possibility for change.
So we think, and we also simply cannot cope with this unreasonableness and illogic. But neither the previous and incredibly malicious failures. On that basis, we ask the High Council for a last possible solution if there should still be one. It was a way to a possibility that can still lead to success.
And
it is only a glimmer of a hope, but it should be valuable enough for us to try to form it into light.
You are joking with me because I do not see this glimmer.
At first, we also could not recognize it, so we asked the High Council for advice. Only it was able in its wisdom to give us an acceptable solution.
And do you have that now?
Certainly.
And what is that solution?
The core group should be dissolved and discontinued in its entirety. However, it should still continue to exist as a pure free community of interests for the time of exactly 12 months, during which time every single former group member should work very hard and intensively and thoroughly convert to the objectives. At the same time, every single group member must also intensively study and learn the teaching and all writings, so that from this a true knowledge develops for them. This, together with all necessary exercises, etc., and together with the necessary activities for the pursuit and dissemination of the mission and its interests. But also limited recognition, learning and following the existing rules and regulations of the recommendations, as well as obeying the statutes, still remain in force during this time, after which they then must be changed in a number of points. The period of 12 months, however, must also be used to study the English language, because after this period, this will become a second language for various group members out of necessity. After the deadline is reached, an examination has to take place for every single group member, as is held by the statutes, after which an entrance into the newly established core group will be decided if each group member has so changed up to this time and has completed the necessary studying of all interests, matters, and facts to the point that the free community of interests remains stable. During this 12-month time period, however, and also in the future, it will then be that we will have an activity plan and task plan for every single group member, which must be completed on time and to date, and also accurately and properly in all matters.
If this is so, then I am not the man who will shout again.
We also do not expect that from you because the necessary instructions will always be given by us, so you can put them down in writing and deliver them to the individual group members. Violations of our orders necessarily have to be punished so that the fallible ones must finally be removed from the free community of interests.
And what if everything still Abwehrheit note Abwehrheit Imax fails?
About that I will still speak. But first of all, this. It was planned and with a little effort would have been achieved that during the past 312 years, 5 writings and bookworks could have been constructed and sold as genuine books. During that time, however, only the Talmud Emmanuel was put into this form. So we are also demanding that during the 12 months, the remaining 4 missing writings are to be produced in the said form, because this is necessary for the dissemination of such. About all of these issues, every group member must now make a decision. Thus, the choice stands before them. Allow everything to be destroyed already, with the certainty that by this, the future will also be destroyed and any other mission progress in the future, or allow the possibility of the 12-month period to be seized and used in order to secure a success in the future. Every single group member must make a decision about this within 3 days after our conversation for today has been given to them in writing or by word of mouth. The decision about these things, however, has to be done no later than Tuesday, the 12th of August, 1980, which is why my daughter will still convey everything to you in time.
And what happens if after the 12 months everything still collapses?
Then the destruction of all material has to take place.
Then there is no sense in printing 4 books or writings. That would only be lost capital.
That is of correctness, but it is also the risk that every single cooperating person of the free community of interests must take. but it will also serve as a warning and incentive for everyone to make the necessary conversion in every relation and to study the teaching thoroughly and own them for themselves. This concerns much more than just a selfish lifestyle and the selfish, domineering, and hysterical emotions of individuals. It is about the existence and continued existence of an entire planet and its humanity, as well as its evolution.
Tell me about it. That is all clear to me, but oh damn.
You are so very bitter that you see no hope. You are destroyed within yourself in terms of your expectations, and all positives are trumped by negatives. You need at least 3 to 4 years before you can return to your old self again. From now on, we will often, through my daughter, remove you from the earth for longer periods of time for you to become familiarized with yourself again, and then drop you back into your time using time shifts. Only in this manner, after adjusting to Earth time again, will you be able to do what you are now no longer able to do.
I know. I have become immensely distressed from the contact reports.
Do not worry. My daughter will show consideration towards you and will have patience with you.
Certainly, you can be sure of that. I already know that you need hours for just a short conversation.
That is dear of you. Thank you. Nevertheless, for the time being, I will not lift a finger to stir up group affairs. I simply cannot do it.
We also do not demand that of you. Cautiously wait until the decision is made. Until then, we only expect that you still strive to write down our conversation if it is conveyed to you by my daughter.
Sure, but I understand why you want to make an attempt again. It is just, I think a so-called attempt is really just an attempt. There is only an either-or.
That is of correctness. What we intend with the 12 months is not just an attempt. It is only a failure or success. It is nothing more than just a last resort, so that now, by true efforts, all will succeed. If not, then any further possibility for a continuation of the mission and all related matters will be destroyed.
Even so, I do not see how there can now be a change for the better.
It is possible that through the collapse of the core group, the group members will now realize that there are no more chances left if this 12-month time period is not decisively used.
If it should come to this 12-month resolution, then I will still oppose it and advocate that it is better now if everything is stopped.
But you would still fulfill your task for at least this time.
Shall I leave you in the dark?
You probably will not and cannot do that.
I would have to ask you.
You do not have to lower yourself so far, I promise that.
For this, I am still grateful to you.
Nonsense. You ultimately cannot do anything for this whole mess. It just surprises me that, despite your word, you once again entered into the direct interests of the group members.
We do this only in the form of a direction, and only in compliance with the advice of the High Council.
Oh, I see, but is this direction not rather decisive, then?
Certainly. It is a Gevalt sam Agavalt los ik kite, untranslatable concept. Approximate would be, mighty and forcefully done in a non-might, non-force, violence manner.
In general, it seems to be that with the Earth humans, they need mandatory leadership and determination from the outside, which is incomprehensible to us. The people of the community of interests, your existing group, were all aware that they should be singled out from the large mass of the earthly humanity in a special form, that they are free and independent in their thinking, decisions, and actions. Thus, a major difference should have come to light between them and the unfree ones of the religions and sects. Instead of this, however, they used their freedom and independence as an advantage to themselves in every form, and to think, decide, and act unconstrainedly. In addition, they abused this freedom and became more vicious and selfish, more arrogant and egotistical, and more power-driven than the members of the religions and sects of the whole world. They took it so far in their self-glory that they encircled themselves into a group spirit and became stubborn until they came to the point that they must now be taught by the unknowing Earth humans instead of them teaching the Earth humans. In their unreasonableness and illogic, they are of the belief that their confused and inconsistent thinking is good and straightforward, and that logical resolutions, decisions and actions as well as results of the same kind would emerge from this. Truly, this wise of thinking is but to punish a lie because it reflects a sense of malicious error. And as long as the group members still feel that they are capable of that real, reasonable, and logical thinking, they will not change for the better for a long time. Consequently, a path towards their instruction, which will relay reason and logic to them by way of Gewaltsamen Gewaltlosigkeit, approx enforced nonviolence, must be taken. In this case, it means that all parties and some of them must be given strict guidelines, behavior patterns, learning methods, study habits, and modes of operation to follow, which they are not to worry about for the time being but simply heedlessly follow them. Compliance with these kinds of behavior patterns will lead them towards recognizable success, which will inevitably arrive as a goal. And once this success has become apparent, then the accuracy of the direction or instruction will be recognized, which will then automatically lead to the fact sooner or later that the first perceived aggressions and rebellions against such instructions have led to success. It will then slowly follow that a consistent wise of thinking will appear that finally leads them to own and grasp their own, reason-laden, as well as logical and success-bringing thoughts, and decisions and actions can be carried out without any apparent failures.
A kind of dictatorship, but a gewaltlos approx, lack of force, dictatorship.
That is significantly accurate. As Ptah said, it is Gewaltsam Losigkeit, approx, mightful, powerful nonviolence, use of force.
It is just strange that in every damned sect everything is going and thriving. But there, everything is prescribed to each person, the thinking and non-thinking, the decisions and non-decisions, and the actions and non-actions. But in all this time, without the possibility existing for the believer that he or she can turn to the truth and to the correct, free, and logical thinking. With us, however, free thinking, decision-making, and actions have been taught and are being learned, yet it has not worked.
It is missing the fear of God or his avengers, and it lacks the fear of hell and purgatory.
My daughter speaks the truth. The group members are completely free in their thinking and actions and are unaffected by religious or sectarian beliefs and dogmas, which would beat them into a dependent religious slavery. The fear through the faith is missing, because the group members live for the truth, as well as in and with the truth. However, because this fear is missing, since they are too close to the truth, several of them have become megalomaniacal and believe that they are entitled by their freedom to feel elevated over everything. But he or she who highly exalts themselves will have a great fall.
I have also fallen quite damn deeply.
However, not from megalomania, illogic, or unreasonableness, but from the confidence that you have placed in your group members. And it is this confidence that has abused you and hurled you so very deeply into the abyss of darkness that you are almost not able to recognize any glimmer of light anymore. However, it is not your wrongdoing. Let us, however, leave these concerns for today. Now go home and rest. Our conversation has made you very strained.
It has, and it still does.
Go now. We will see each other again after the decision is made. Goodbye.
Then take care, girl. Goodbye, Ptah, and goodbye, Quetzal.
Go in peace, my friend. We will meet again soon.
I will also be there. Goodbye.
Take care, everyone.